Evening Intuitives. I hope you found my last video helpful because that was the point of, well, every one I make. So, shifting gears back to the narcissism side of the channel, I promise I got a witchcraft video coming up. For those of you that like them, if that's not your thing, then don't watch them because it's for people that are into that or curious about it. And while I believe in free will and everybody's entitled to their opinion, those of you that disapprove of witchcraft and the occult should at least be fair and hear out what those of us that are actually in the practice have to say, because we do it so we know how it actually works instead of propaganda. you know it's kind of how it works with anything. If you don't It'd be like you don't go ask the DNC, well, how do you think the RNC does things? Gee, are they in competition or something? So just, yeah, be fair. If you're curious, check it out. Talk to people more experienced than me, especially in the left-handed path, because I'm relatively new to that. But yeah, I like to talk about it. It's fun. And yes, in some aspects, you can dabble without being, a full-on witch. If you read tarot cards or have someone cast a spell, that doesn't mean that you have a pact with an entity you may be scared with. Pacts take time, and they don't always accept you. It's not an instantaneous thing. They have to accept you, and that can be a long and arduous process, depending on what deity it is and depending on who you are. If you're a male trying to form a pact with Lilith, she's very, 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 very picky, and rightfully so. But she accepted me. But I'm an enigma. But enough about witchcraft. This is a narcissism video. I just wanted to put that disclaimer in because there are more witchcraft videos coming. Hexing. I still don't know what I'm going to do with that. I had an idea for it, but I don't know the person's name, so I can't do it. So I'll think of something. Someone will cross me. They always do. So, usually not for a good reason, usually. Topic that I've been thinking of in the narcissism side of things is, as I've mentioned in other videos, the narcissist has no empathy for their target or whoever they're trying to destroy who's in the way of them and their target or getting their supply in any way. And they can't be happy for other people's success too, because everything's about them. And that's what leads me to the title. The narcissist tactic of, what about me? Now, what do I mean by when they go, what about me? What about me? It's how they twist everything to be about them and how it affects them instead of how it affects the people actually involved or the people whose decision it really is. Like a prime example would be, and I know because I'm going to use this as an example because y'all know about it. So 2 years ago, when I was wrongfully expelled from the Arlington County Fire Department after reporting months of bullying and hazing that was, enabled by many of the people there, not all, but many. And then when I faced retaliation for reporting it, which went completely unpunished, even though it was reported that day by me and two instructors and my commanding officer, they just kind of swept it under the rug, like, people from the TRT team are involved. We can't punish them. They're above the rules. At least that's what it seems like what happened. I don't know the specifics. I do know that nobody was held accountable. So in that instance, obviously my mother knew about all that, and my mother's a borderline, for those of you that are new to the channel. She made it all about her, like how it affected her. So I'm the one who had to go through that experience. I'm the one who lost his dream job for the second time in the middle of a pandemic. I'm the one who had to try to find another job in the middle of a pandemic in the greater DC area, one of the most stringently locked down parts of the country. And I'm the one who didn't get the unemployment that I was entitled to, that, I've been paying into that since I was 15. But so couldn't catch a break on any fronts, and that's how I ended up having to move back here. Because lost dream job unjustly. Oh, was supposed to be in the next class and get a meeting with the chief. That never happened. Couldn't find a new job because of pandemic and didn't get unemployment. So yeah, that's kind of a perfect storm event. But she made it all about her. Even her friends, when I came back, said that. Like, she'd always be like, how this affects her, this and that. And they would even tell her, like, He's the one going through that, but that's the narcissist. That's the borderline. What about me? How does this affect me? And the reason she was like that was because she was like, well, why'd you have to wear that damn pentacle? Like, people are going to say stuff about me because, you lost your job in Chester County. It's never the establishment's fault. So it must have been something I did, because the good old boys are by definition right. I mean, I'm going to be fair. That's not everybody here, but that's the majority of people. That is the standard, mindset, and the one that they try to shove down everybody's throat to this day. But things are changing, albeit slowly. Yeah, boomers can't live forever. So that's an example of a borderline, that just everything's about them. What about me? What about me? And this was true in my life too. When I was, when I got hired the first time and I was going to move to Virginia at 19, she didn't want me to do it. So it was about her and how it would affect her, me leaving the area. And I get that now, because being the scapegoat, I was a large source of supply. The narcissist, the borderline, doesn't want their scapegoat or their favorite person to get away, because that's their main source of supply. And if you move 3 hours away, I essentially, without knowing what it was, would have been low contact. Without knowing what low contact is. It's funny how that works. If you don't know what narcissism is, your instincts to move and stuff, it's hard for a lot of people to go no contact, but if you think about it, going low contact isn't really that hard. In most circumstances, there's marriages when there's kids, and that gets more difficult. But I'm talking like from parents or other members of family. Going low contact really isn't that hard for the majority of people. It's kind of a common sense kind of thing. Another instance would be, just a for example, would be, say there's a narcissist or a borderline, and they have their main target, and that main target, that borderline or narcissist is, friends with that target, but they actually want to be more than friends. And that target maybe meets somebody, and that person could be like what they've been looking for a while, like someone that, it's spooky how much they have in common and how much chemistry they have, and everybody can see it. And it's, like people are like, what's taking you two so long kind of thing. The narcissist or the borderline will not be happy for that target, because that target could be like, oh, I haven't, I've been treated like shit. Like, this is everything I'm looking for. I like, this is great. They can't believe. And let's say that person of interest for that target is somebody who's hard to get, like someone that other people have tried and they've pushed away. So, but the narcissist, the borderline, of course, will be like, well, what about me? Like I need you. You're mine. Like you're my crutch. Like if I don't care how much this person makes you happy or how well he or she treats you, you're my crutch, and you need to be with me at all times. And if you two hit it off, that means that's less time with me, and I can't have that. I don't care how healthy it could be. I don't care how happy you are. I don't care how, much of a positive experience that could be in a change from a destructive pattern of behavior. It's all about what the narcissist or the borderline wants, and if they have a main target or a favorite person, that is their main source of supply. So instead of, like in a normal friendship, having happiness for a friend, finding or starting what all signs would point to be like a happy, healthy relationship. No, they want to destroy it, because that happy, healthy relationship, that could be a very positive experience for that friend and could be exactly what they need, possibly, is just taking away that narcissist or that borderline supply. So the meltdowns will come. I mean, obviously, first they'll try to intimidate and slander whoever this person is, because that's the easiest thing, because, they don't want to piss off the main target. Because borderlines especially have that insecurity and abandonment issues. Narcissists, the gaslighting and the covert shit's coming out at this point. But first they'll try to destroy the target, and next it'll be the guilt trips and the meltdowns of how much they, the narcissist or the borderline needs that target, especially the borderlines. This is when the threats of self-harm and what I don't know what I do, you're my whole world shit comes out. I've seen my mother do it with many friends. And that's, they make it all about themselves. And the same goes for empathy too. Like, say if a narcissist or a borderline's main source of supply, target favorite person, like loses their spouse or somebody close to them, the narcissist will make it all about when they went through a similar experience and to always talk about how their experience is worse. The narcissist will always one up with the what about me, like, but it won't even be comparable. It'll be, I'll use the same example again because, it's so ridiculous. Like my instance of losing my dream job, my apartment, not getting my unemployment, going through all that bullying and hazing, having to move back to an area I despise. In my mother's eyes, her 30-year-old garage door opener that would have been like a $200 fix to wash, all equal. Why? Because it happened to her. And narcissists and borderlines always, uh, it's not a big deal when it happens to anybody else. But when it happens to me, any little thing that happens to them, and it's like, what about me? There it could be someone in their life that they claim to be friends with or claim to care about that could be going through, like a real struggle. And the narcissist or the borderline will equate it to a minor inconvenience in their life because for them, again, what about me? It's all about me. I'm feeling an ounce of pain. As I used to say to my mother's face all the time, I'm like, you won't be happy until you're carried down the streets in a portable throne. Sede gestatoria is what they called it in the Vatican. It's the Latin word for it. Gilded in gold and diamonds with people praising you and being like, oh, just to be in your presence. That's what they want. And of course, that main person at their side, at their beck and call for whatever they want in that moment, because narcissists and borderlines expect that person to drop everything at a moment's notice and do everything for them, because especially borderlines, they're every like anything of obligation or responsibility is extremely overwhelming to them, and it's I don't know everything like the most simplest tasks that they don't want to do. It's like some overwhelming obstacle, and somebody should be rushing to their aid to do it for them, no matter what's on their plate. And they don't care, narcissists and borderlines, what pain they cause other people in order to get that attention, in order to play that what about me card. Like they'll straight up maybe take something away from someone that maybe helped them in the past that is struggling on multiple fronts in their life, and they'll take away the one thing that was, getting them out of bed in the morning just for their supply, just because they laid claim to it, just because they feel, their wants are all that matter in the world, and people exist only to please and serve them, and whatever tactics they have to use to get what they want, whoever has to be destroyed. And even, a lot of times the person of interest, the target or the favorite person will be destroyed too, because after a while they're no longer useful to the narcissist or the borderline. But that's not, that's not their fault either. All that matters is that they're completely subservient to them during the time in which they want them, because what about me? I need you now. So therefore, you put your hopes, your dreams, your love life, your other friends, you put everything on hold for me, because me, what about me? What about me? And that is one of their major tactics that I wanted to shed some enlightenment on. So if you've dealt with narcissists or borderlines, I'm sure you've seen this tactic. It's a pretty common one. For those of you that are trying to figure out if you are dealing with a narcissist or a borderline, I hope this opens your eyes and lets you know that you must run. Yes, this is just one of their many tactics. Watch my other videos. They could be helpful. Watch my older videos, everybody. Nobody's watched my being the edge of the coin video yet. Little hurt. Keep asking. Do it. And it doesn't cost anything. I like that video. I'm proud of it. It didn't get much. Because it doesn't, it's my personal philosophy mixed with some Nietzschean philosophy. But it's pretty awesome. It's the one with the thumbnail of a British pound on its edge. Yeah. It's cool. You should really watch it and cheer a sad guy up. Okay, so trust your intuition. If a narcissist or a borderline is playing the what about me card, it should be obvious to you that they have no empathy for you, and they're trying to manipulate you into serving their every whim. And do not sell out your integrity just to please a narcissist's whim. Do not think by doing so that it'll make the situation better, because it'll only make it worse, because they're just going to keep pushing your boundaries less and less and keep calling you to their beck and call, and they expect you to come as if they were calling a dog. So remember, the narcissist, You know, no matter what you're going through, no matter how horrific it is, no matter what pain you feel or joy that they're ripping away from you, the only thing going through their mind is, what about me?